Good afternoon, everybody. It is about 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, and I have spent the morning doing some housework and have just had an hour to sit down with a cup of coffee and do some stitching. And as you can see, I finished the fairy's hair and then made a start on her upper wing. So I think I said yesterday that I was debating between doing her skin or doing her wings, the upper wings first, but I have decided to do the wings. And the thread that I'm using here, you can probably hear that scratchy sound as I'm pulling it through. This is DMC Light Effects. So hold on, I'll see if I can show you it. So it's just this stuff here, this Light Effects. I know a lot of people really don't like Light Effects. I don't mind it. I wouldn't want to be using huge amounts of it, but I think it's okay. But as you might remember, sorry, there's loads of cars driving by. As you might remember, I couldn't get my hands on the Krynic, and although I used the satin, of course, for these kind of portions here, I just thought something a little bit more, well, it's not metallic, is it? But it is kind of shiny. I thought that would be more suitable for the wings. You can't see it at all there, but there is actually a little bit of shine off it. And yes, so that's where we're moving, up the wings, and then there's some more Krynic called for up at the top in a gold colour. Again, I couldn't get that, so I will be using Petite Treasure Braid, which I do prefer using to Light Effects. I find that Treasure Braid is more similar to Krynic, and I would imagine now that Krynic has been sold to Rainbow Gallery, they'll probably be very similar. But yeah, for now, it's just a shame that this kind of, the way it's shiny, doesn't show up on the, oh sorry, I'm moving the thing on the screen. But yes, so I'm going to keep on moving up the wing, and I will show you whenever I get some more progress, basically. And talk to you later. So it's now just coming up to 7 in the evening, and I've just been able to do another hour of stitching, which was really lovely, of course. And as you can see, I am just finishing off the wing. Well, I shouldn't say finishing off, because there is another bit to go after. Oh, dropped my needle after this. But this thread I'm currently working with is Petite Treasure Braid, which is a nice thread. It wasn't what was called for. What was called for was Krynic, but again, that was one of the ones I couldn't get, so this is Treasure Braid. I like Treasure Braid. I think of all the kind of metallics, with the exception of the DMC Diamond, which is my favourite, so I would say Petite Treasure Braid is my second favourite of all the metallics. Diamond is my favourite, and then probably Krynic. I tell you what's not my favourite is this stuff here, which was the Light Effects. But I really like the colour, but that stuff is just, and everyone hates it. And I know it's so cliche to say that I don't like Light Effects, and I don't really despise it the way some people do, but it's definitely not my favourite. So getting to use a little bit of Treasure Braid is quite nice. I have actually, oh, I've got a knot. I have actually been thinking about not doing the other wing straight away. So rather than doing the other wing, I was thinking I could do maybe tomorrow start her skin, because I don't have tomorrow's Sunday and I don't have a lot of things to do tomorrow, whereas Monday I'm quite busy. And I think with skin, and especially converting the skin into 2/1, it might be better if I do that on a day that I kind of have a lot of time to just sit down and, you know, get some stitching done. So that's what I'm thinking. Sorry, this is probably really blurry. Don't know if you can see it there. It's kind of, yeah. Don't look too closely at my my Light Effect stitches, because they are so messy. But I'm just hoping that people won't notice. But yes, so that's the wing. We also need to do some Krynic going up the side here, and then some backstitch. The backstitch is kind of what makes the wing look like a wing. hopefully we'll get that done tonight, and I will show you what I get done when I'm finished. Okay, so our wing is finished, and I think, well, I hope you will agree that the back stitch here, which is this Krynic, has made quite a difference, and I think it looks really cool now. Before I thought it looked very, very obvious that this was more metallic than this, because this is Treasure Braid and this is Light Effects, and Light Effects isn't really like a proper metallic. I don't know what you'd really call Light Effects. But anyway, yeah. So I think the yeah, well, it is Krynic. The Krynic back stitch has made it look really, really cool. So I have to go off and do some things around the house, and I'm going to use that time to think about whether I will move on to the next wing or whether I will just move my fabric up slightly and get started on this skin. And I don't know what that is. What is that? Oh, I think it's just a slub in the thing. Anyway, or move on to the skin. So this is where I finished up last night. So obviously the wing, and then as you can possibly see here, I did make a start on the fairy's arm. Now I am stitching this 1/1, and I think I was saying to one of you in the comments that what I'm probably going to do is go back and forth. So do a patch of skin, then do something else, then come back, do another patch of skin. Because although I don't mind doing 1/1 stitching, I do find it quite hard on my eyes. Not that I really have problems with my eyes, but you kind of find that you really have to focus because the stitches are so small. And so, yeah, I think also you kind of get bored of doing loads of 1/1. So I think I'm going to do a patch of the skin, then go back and do something else. Maybe like start on the second wing and then alternate that way. I am... In terms of converting it to 1/1, I suppose in an ideal world you would get out, you know, some kind of squared paper, like Matt's paper, and, you know, to kind of soften these lines a little bit rather than just putting in 4 stitches for 1 stitch. I don't really have the time to be doing all of that. So what I'm kind of just doing is guessing, you know, just kind of using a bit of common sense to soften the lines a little bit. We'll see how it turns out. It does have backstitch, so the backstitch will add in a lot of, you know, will add in the detail. Personally, I really, really like when the designers use 1/1 skin. I know Lavender and Lace, she used to use quite a lot of 1/1 skin, which I loved. I don't know if... Sorry, there's a bee flying around. Oh, he's gone now. I don't know if... Mirabilias have ever used 1/1 skin, but I just think it looks better. I don't think I could stitch 2/2. That's just not my thing. Also, I will say that her arm is like a really strange colour. I don't know if you can see that, but it's like, it's very, very, very pale. It's this kind of whitish, very pale pink, but like really pale pink. So it looks a bit odd. I mean, I am very pale, but she's even paler than I am. I didn't think that was possible. But yes, anyway, I'm sure, like always with skin, when it's all done, it'll just make more sense and it'll look better. So that's all for today, or for yesterday, I suppose. And then today, which will be tomorrow for you, I'm going to probably get started on that second wing. See you later.